Up next, we will have Ms. Angie Bell, APAC Director of Twilio, to share with us about building interactive voice messaging and WebRTC applications in the cloud. Ms. Bell, please.
Thank you. Could I get a mic? Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Somehow, after Charles's speech, everyone walked out the room. So I got to find a way to re-engage with you guys. Obviously, you've heard from the social guys. So hi, my name's Angie Bell, and I live in Hong Kong. So I did not come down from San Francisco, although my company is San Francisco based. Just to give you a brief background on Twilio. Well, first of all, if there are developers in the room, I don't know where they are. They must be in separate tracks at the moment. We've got promo code here, which is WIDS 15, which gives you $25 towards usage of all Twilio products and services once you sign up on twilio.com. I'm currently the head of APAC for Twilio here. We have recently just established our presence here in Hong Kong, and we will also be opening our offices in Singapore for the rest of the year. This is our first APAC expansion to the region. So first of all, we want to actually introduce what cloud communications is to all of you. I aim for all of you to take back 3 things from today. What is cloud communications? What am I talking about when I'm talking about cloud communications API? 2, why is it important for developers and businesses today? And 3, the kind of use cases you see that you've been touched with when a lot of companies around us in the ecosystem is using cloud communications. So, well, first a big welcome from my Twilio headquarters in San Francisco. We have got a brief background. We've got over 400 people at the moment at Twilio. We're headquartered in San Francisco with research and development out of Mountain View, our sales team out of New York, as well as developer evangelists. We just opened up this year London, Berlin, Dublin, and also myself here, Hong Kong, and Singapore. 80% of our team consists of engineers and developers. Now, to share with you the context of what cloud communications is, I'm going to bring you back to the olden days when some of you remember this phone, and probably the typewriter on the right. I remembered I had that phone before, and it took me forever to wait for it to dial back. So at that time, communications was linear. You made one phone call. And then you have to go to your computer. If at that time a computer was an entire server room, can you imagine that? Now everything's done on your mobile phone. So every context of communication was linear at that time. And at that time, in order to make a call, oh, Grandma wasn't happy here, look at her. She actually had to manually plug in the jacks when you call an operator line to connect you to someone else overseas. So imagine this happening during peak hours. She must have been a really, really grumpy operator, let's put it that way. Now, what are the legacy telephony services we find in the world today? We've got PBX. All of you will know these services because you've been touched by them. You've got PBX, you've got SIP trunking, call centers, fax services, SMS, voice broadcast, call tracking software. But do you realize that when you are deploying an app today and when you are starting a new business, you actually have to go out and look for these individual services? And I've spent 15 years in the telecoms world, and I can tell you that the telecoms people and the internet people, those two do not talk to each other. So this is where Twilio has come in. Today, this is the kind of communications all of us are experiencing. This is actually my daily life. I'm the one in the video, actually, because the rest of my team is out in San Francisco or London. But we are touched by every device we have around us. We've got our mobile phones, we've got our laptops, we've got our tablets, we've got video conferencing. And we want to make sure it's seamless throughout. And this is the kind of experience we have today. So like I said before, a call, a message, and a video used to be a complete standalone experience. You probably have to open up every individual app in order to experience all of them. Today, we view communications as an integrated experience. Why? Because you have got custom software. You've got people like Salesforce. You've got Zendesk. You've got social guys like Twitter. And you want to make sure your entire experience throughout all the apps, on every touch point, is seamless. So at Twilio, we believe in contextual and automated communications. And this is where we have built a series of communication tools using open APIs, which is easily accessible on our website instantly. So if you look at this graph, it basically just tells you the evolution of APIs from where cloud computing first began to where it is today. And today, we have got over 14,000 open APIs, and this was published by Programmable Web. And this means this industry is continuing to evolve. In fact, if statistics are said to be right, this is worth 800 million this year, growing to a 3.5 billion industry by 2019. So what do we do? At the end of the day, all of you got a question mark on your head. What is Twilio? We basically make telephony services accessible via simple APIs. So like I said, the telecoms world and the internet world never spoke to each other. Now, through simple, easy-to-use open APIs, you're able to access all telecom services with your apps. And this is how a cloud communications platform looks like. We've got voice. We've got client. That means JavaScripts and SDKs. We've got phone numbers you can buy in over 200 countries. We've got SIP trunking. We've got SMS throughout the world. We've got short codes available. And this is, we also include helper libraries across all programming languages. We've got logs, we've got resources, and I'll be able to show you literally on our dashboard later how it actually looks like. And the kind of use cases with all that's on the platform, we've got contact centers using us in Japan. They have completely scaled to the cloud entirely. So that they use us for call recordings, click-to-call, integrated help desk, IVRs, predictive dialers. So in every business communication tools, sales communications, mobile marketing, security and privacy. In fact, PCMag last week published an article where one of our products, Authy, is actually better than a Google Authenticator. So you know, we're involved in cloud communication software, especially business processes and logistics as well. So you're all familiar with DHL and FedEx and UPS, and they'll be delivering parcels to you and sending you a text alert telling you exactly where the courier is at a particular time. So where does cloud communications sit in all the stack that you've heard today? Well, you've got infrastructure as a service, so this is where AWS comes in, Azure, SoftLayer. And then you've got platform as a service, and then you've got your social logins and security guys that you see there. And then you see Twilio, that's in the middle, cloud communications. And then also you've got other payments like PayPal, etc. And then you've got software as a service, which is NetSuite, Salesforce, Zendesk. This is just to give you a brief overview of where exactly does cloud communications sit in the ecosystem. So, second question. So that was a brief introduction to cloud communications. Now, why is it important to developers and businesses today? Because the traditional shrink-wrapped solutions model is broken. And this is why you see a lot of big companies around us. You'll know some of the brands. Some of them are our sponsors today, where they're trying to move into a fast-moving, agile world that we live in. Why? What's happening with the legacy services? It's so slow. It's not evolving. It's slow to change. It's expensive to start off. You know, a lot of contact centers, call centers, or a lot of development work when it involves telecom services. By the time you actually deploy from the moment of proof of concept, it's actually 5 years technology behind time. So it's hard to integrate and scale. It's limited. Today, if you want to be the next WhatsApp, all you need to do is sign up for a free account on Twilio.com, and you have access to over 7 billion mobile phones around the world. That was not possible a few years ago. You need mobility today, and that's what legacy services are not able to give you. So where does that end up? You get unhappy, ineffective agents. terrible, employee happiness. You get fragmented system integrations, wasted time, money, and dissatisfied customers. So earlier on, Josh mentioned one thing. In today's world, it's all about user experience and customer experience. And this belongs to me. If you are able to touch me in every way that through all my app devices and everything that I use daily, and you're able to keep me a satisfied customer, I will stay loyal to you and your brand. But what if we applied software principles to legacy telephony services? And this is what we do every day. We want you to be able to prototype, build, deploy, and change quickly. And that's the most important thing when it comes to software building principles. With Twilio's platform, every developer around the world, so Twilio was established from the fact that we've got a developer database. So in the year 2008, when we first started, we had probably a couple of hundred developers. Today, we've got over 700,000 developers using us, exactly for this reason, because you're able to prototype quickly, you're able to build, deploy, change, and see what happens. Let's try it out, What is the difference? Closet meaning legacy solutions that are available in the world to cloud solutions. You get flexibility. I still get a lot of vendors now, especially in Asia, that comes up to me, oh, Angie, we want to send SMS. Okay, right. But, I also want to have IP video calling. So, previously I need to use 2-3 vendors, but now you can access everything through one platform. You need speed. Multi-week contracts, annual contracts doesn't work today. You need to make sure that you can deploy now. Go global in a few minutes. Cost effective. You pay as you scale, especially if you're a startup. You don't have costs on your side, so you don't have money, you don't have investors at a time when you first start prototyping. So you need to be able to pay as you scale, and as the moment you grow, we grow with you. And that's the kind of philosophy we want to have. One of the key things that I mentioned earlier was communications, user experience, and that's why contextual communications is important, and this is what the whole platform is all about. Today, we are touched by social apps, we are on the web, in person, we walk into a store, the contact centers, or the mobile. So look at this graph, like I mentioned. A user like me, I engage with a company on their Facebook page, I log onto their website to check out what the product is, what the service is, and probably I ask a question through a live chat, and I get a few answers. Okay, I'll think about it. I go back and continue my research on the web again, and then I ask a community on Twitter whether or not a service is actually recommended. I come back down again to my mobile. I decide to navigate using IVR, visual IVR or video, and then my agent receives the call. I visit in-store to talk to a salesperson, and I finally make a purchase, whether it's through the mobile or online. But all these touch points, the fact is, if I bought something from your store, or your brand, or your services yesterday, the fact that you can remember my name, the fact that you can remember what I was searching for, integrating all these data into my experience is important. One of the key things that we just did, the reason why I don't have my American colleagues with me is because the last 2 days we had a major event with over 700 developers in San Francisco. So quite a few of them were stuck up there. So I said, I got to come down here and actually support the Hong Kong developer community. But one of the key things that is important with Twilio's platform is the development of such a service. So if you're familiar with Amazon's Kindle, they've got a particular Amazon Mayday button that's on there. Basically, it integrates everything Amazon knows about you as a user, which books you're browsing, which video, and you're able to click on there and get the direct customer contact agent that's looking at you. Actually, she can't see you, but you can see the agent. So that gives you entire privacy, but also allows you to have that whole new experience with the brand in itself. And that's the kind of communications that we want to help build today. So if you are a developer, or if you're a business and you've got an application, all you need to do is integrate into the Twilio cloud, and we've got all these client libraries that are available, PHP, C++, Java, We've got SDKs available, and you're able to immediately interact with your customers through the various telephony services, which are real-time communications. So yesterday, we just launched IP messaging. You're also able to integrate IP video and mobile SDKs with IP voice. So with that, just think about click-to-call directly from your website. Think about a WhatsApp call. Think about a line call, Kakao call, directly IP to IP. We provide SDKs for you to do that. We've got SIP trunking available. We've got SMS, MMS, and direct to PSTN lines. So these are the kind of communications we're trying to bridge with the internet to the telecoms world. So think of a cloud communications platform as Lego. I love Lego. I love Lego bricks, right? So these are all the API stacks that are available and all the products. So we're all builders because of Lego. And because of APIs, companies are turning into builders too. And if companies do not build today, they'll be losing out in the race. Now, after all that data that I just shared, you must be wondering, so what can I exactly do with the Twilio platform? All these use cases, collaboration solutions, conference calling, group texting. We'll try one out later. I'm going to have a group calling right here, so we can get all of you to actually dial in. Very simple code, one line, less than 5 minutes. Customer support, help desk solutions, marketing, call tracking, notifications, Salesforce, Zendesk integrations, any kind of software, two-factor authentication, as well as identity verification. So I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with Uber. That's only because it's not as popular here in Hong Kong. But I've seen it in China, and I thought they are doing a really good job. They're actually located 2 floors below me in my office at the moment. But if you've had to experience Uber from before smartphones, you would have to call and wait in the rain, especially with yesterday's terrible storm and the oncoming storm at the moment. You have to wait in the rain, and what happens? Your taxi doesn't show up, you have to call again and wait. Today, everything happens instantly on the app. You've got the order confirmation, your location of the data, and you're also able to call the driver directly from the contact button that's on the app. If you can't find your driver, he didn't show up at the right location, you can actually call him. And that phone number where you actually call the driver is an anonymous phone number which they purchased from the Twilio platform in order to protect the privacy of both the passenger and the taxi driver. So Uber, obviously using us for real-time ride status alerts, and also the anonymous masking of phone numbers, because you really don't want a taxi driver to be haggling you half the time. Secondly, we were talking about all the Internet of Things, etc., but this is just very simple vending machines. Coca-Cola, they send field service requests with Twilio's platform. Basically, the vending machines that are all over the United States, they will be able to send whichever vending machines run out of Coke, basically. It will actually send the data back into Coca-Cola's system, and they'll be able to send out notifications directly to the nearest engineer to fix the vending machine. Home Depot is more like a do-it-yourself kind of IKEA, per se, a do-it-yourself IKEA in the US. And they deployed their contact center in 90 days. And it only took them about 8 weeks to integrate a CRM into their call center entirely, running over 1 million minutes in a span of a million minutes in a span of a week or so. So this is the kind of example of integration with the CRM and IP solution. So yeah, they're able to make, this is their CRM platform, and they're able to make the call or receive the call directly from within the system. They're able to integrate that into the data of where the call is coming from, which user, what have they done, and to make sure the whole experience is seamless to the user. So traditional, like I mentioned, integration fees, they require professional services fees. And today with web-enabled communications, they are contextual, so you can plug into your social media your CRM systems, your database, and make sure that you communicate with the customers directly through the various voice, speech, IVR, various kind of tools. So this is the kind of call center building blocks that we have given Home Depot. They have the queuing mechanism, voice, transcription, IVR, text-to-speech, client and recording. And again, you as a developer or as a business, you're able to probably take 3 of these tools or 2 of these tools, whichever, that you wish to deploy, and you can just pick and choose and deploy it. Salesforce is also one of our larger customers that have used us, and so you'll get this experience in terms of having the outbound call, inbound call directly integrated into the CRM system as well. Zendesk, customer experience. So a lot of startups I know use Salesforce or Zendesk. And quite a few of them will say, hey, you know, if I really want to make that whole seamless customer experience, what do I do? And this is an example of what happens. So now that we've got IP video, very soon you will see IP video available on Zendesk. So therefore, you're able to communicate via video with your customers or if you're running a business. So capabilities with context, like I mentioned, WebRTC, agent phone, that outbound dialer that you've seen earlier. Click to call directly from the website. So if somebody searches for your business directly on the website, they're able to click to call as opposed to the Google click to call. You can integrate that to yourself. Screen pops, alerts, and surveys. You can do quite a few capabilities with context. My personal use cases. I thought I'd share because I like it. So I actually have to use a app from Expedia, and over there, they'll tell me that the travel agent is actually busy on the app. So if I can't find my flight, if I need to go somewhere strange and I can't find it on the app, I can actually say, you know, request a call back, and that immediately goes into their system, Expedia system, and they're able to call me back directly, and they tell me that my wait time's on average 5 minutes. Or I can call an agent directly by clicking that button there, call an agent, and I will be able to make that an IP call. IP to PSTN call, so that means IP from my data network directly to the call center where Expedia is hosted. Secondly, my FedEx package. Second screen there is my FedEx package. When it's arriving. Third is my Uber authentication. 3, I use Airbnb. Love Airbnb, so they communicate with me 2-way through SMS if I can't get data, especially when I'm traveling or roaming. And yeah, Salesforce with its authentication. So these are just some of my personal use cases. Yeah, and so I hope I was able to help answer those 3 things which I want you to go away with today, which is what is cloud communications, why is it important, and the kind of use case that you see. Again, you know, I've promo code today for developers. If you really want to know how to use our APIs, please get in touch with me. We've got, you know, WIDS 15 is a promo code once you sign up. But I've also got limited edition Twilio t-shirts for developers. And if you want them, please come and approach me, and I'll be more than happy to give them to you. So I hope that's all I have to share. One more thing, sorry. So yesterday, there was a latest news. So Twilio, we've just launched news that we've invested $50 million of funding into helping startups or developers that are building on Twilio's technology. If they really want to create a great business out of using Twilio's technology, we'd be more than happy to help you with the funds. So just come and approach us as well. Thank you. If you've got any questions, more than happy to help answer. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Bell. It is now the tea break to 4 p.m. Presentations will resume afterwards. Enjoy yourselves, and I shall see you after the break.